well, it's a bit wet to say the least here at Kingston Lacy. This is down near Wimborne. It's a National Trust property, and the first stop of my 3-day tour, and the whole place is wet really. So anyway, the car park opened at 9:30. It's 9:34 now, so I'm here in plenty of time, and the next thing is to have a cup of coffee. We've got a coffee. Just saves buying one in the National Trust shop. Sometimes I do, but if I've got one with me, right, saves a few quids. Yeah, so just got to put the wheel clamp onto the back. Got the steering clamp on. Always put the wheel clamp on the back as well, but I'll do that when I go outside because it is just a bit wet now. So what about Kingston Lacy then? Described by the National Trust as a precious inheritance. Following the ruin of Corfe Castle during the Civil War, the Banks family rebuilt their home at Kingston Lacy during the 1660s. Nearly 2 centuries later, William John Banks made dramatic changes to create the house we see today. Art collector, connoisseur and pioneer of the study of ancient Egypt, Banks filled the house and estate with art and antiquities. Despite fleeing England in 1841 following a conviction for homosexuality, at that time punishable by death, he continued to collect art and decorative objects, sending them back to his sister with detailed instructions for their display. Kingston Lacy is part of the 16,000-acre Banks estate gifted to the National Trust by Ralph Banks in 1981, preserving his family's 300-year legacy. So according to the National Trust then, the top 5 things to see and do at Kingston Lacy are: explore the 7-acre Japanese garden, first created in the early 1900s, look out for bamboo, Japanese maples and cherry trees, and the authentic tea garden. Number 2, sheltered by a 100-year-old yew tree, the Ferny offers a shady retreat and is home to over 40 different ferns. Number 3, after a 6-year-long journey, the Philae obelisk, discovered by William John, now stands proudly on the south lawn in the formal garden. 4th on the list is the Spanish Room, once called the Golden Room. It's possibly William John's greatest achievement. 5th on the list is Nursery Wood, home to the Hyde collection of hybrid rhododendrons and azaleas. Provides a dazzling display throughout the year in a peaceful corner of the garden. Rather unusually, I was allowed to sit on this sofa. It was super comfy and I really liked the style of it, sort of curving round in a crescent. And a very kind gentleman took over the camera and took some, well, quite nice video of me chilling and enjoying the furniture. It really was a pleasure to be able to sit down on some of the furniture. It's not always the case because sometimes there's little things on the seats and things because they don't want you sitting on them for understandable reasons. We visit quite a lot of National Trust properties these days, making the most of our membership. And this one was a really nice walk around. The gardens are just beautiful, but I couldn't make the most of the gardens when I visited because, well, frankly, as you'll see in a minute, it was really very wet. We'll definitely come back to Kingston Lacy because there's so much to do and it is a really interesting house. What we would like to do is make a bit more use of the grounds, and we'll do that when we come back by staying on the campsite, which is on the grounds, and maybe spend 1 or 2 days. One of the things I would recommend if you come to Kingston Lacy is to allow enough time to really take in some of the artefacts that are in the Egyptian rooms. Really, really very interesting. That was... where have we been? That was Kingston Lacy, and that was very good. That's a very good National Trust property. It's got a good garden, it's got a good house, and yeah, I think what's interesting about it, what makes it good, is that when the house was given back or given to the trust, I think it was given under the conditions that everything in the house stayed. So it is literally as intended. So I think it was around about the 80s where the last person left. But yeah, that's well worth coming to, Kingston Lacy. Oh, it's still raining, but I am on my way to West Bay and the weather does pick up. Look up the top now, and if the video's done, it'll be showing. And also, perhaps now's a good time to ask you to consider subscribing. Don't forget, it doesn't cost anything to you, but it really does help the channel grow. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next video.